Hey everybody, 2 live streams in one day. No way. What's going on here? All right, first live stream was the first experiment in Shakespeare land for me. And then this one here, let me get a little bit of a light happening on me, is going to be some rehearsal for what I do every Halloween for the past 4, 5, or 6 Halloweens now. Is that better? Yeah, it's a little bit better. And that's, I usually dress up, well, it used to be in my steampunk circus outfit, but now that I've got my Scooby-Doo onesie, and I just throw that on. It's actually more comfortable. And I set up my keyboard out on the porch and choose the pipe organ sound, and as people walk down the street and trick-or-treaters come by, I play Bach's Toccata and Fugue in D minor, which is that haunted house music that goes. So I haven't played it. I typically haven't played it for the year prior since the other Halloween. So we gotta run through it once here. So this is fun. Now keep in mind, this is written for organ, so it has the treble clef and the bass clef, but then it's got an extra bass clef for the pedals, because remember those organs have, can you see this? Have the little keyboard at the bottom where you can actually play notes for those loud, low drones. But we'll do our best here. That is something. Yeah, so like what I'm trying to do here is sometimes I just have to make choices and try to play the bass lines that my feet would be doing if it seems to be a prominent part, and then just fill in the rest as I can. So yeah, a lot of jumping around here. It's not your typical sight reading adventure, but it's fun. And one of these days I will get a little. They have little foot pedal controllers for your synthesizers that are those keyboards for your feet. So we'll do that again sometime. So who knows? Maybe I'll live stream me playing that on the organ patch tonight outside if I can set it up. Might be kind of weird, but yeah, I think we'll just let that be the the brush up for you all here, because whew, that gets a little tedious at times when you put it under the microscope like that. Okay, I'm going to play something that I think is going to be fun. Let me get a little wet my whistle here. All right, how's everybody doing on a Sunday, Halloween? It doesn't seem like that's the most common thing ever. I'm going to play Ginastera for you. This is the Danzas Argentinas, excuse me. That, yeah, one of my favorite 20th century composers. He actually visited up here in the 70s, I was told, after I performed the third movement of this at Bell Hall, my only public Bell Hall piano performance ever at the University of Oregon. And yeah, beautiful piece. The first movement is this quirky little thing that just kind of sums up how the guitar is tuned. It actually does the eat at Dave's, get, and then better eggs together for the very end of this piece. And then the second movement of this piece is just delightful, lovely, a peak of dynamics like few pieces I've ever played. And then the third one is just a wild ride, which is probably going to be a hack job here for you, but because I am so out of practice. But hey, that's what we're here for, is to get back into practice. And it's one of those pieces that even when it is a hack job, it is still a wild ride. I'll just try to do my best here. But anyways, this is the first movement of 3 of Danzas Argentinas by Alberto Ginastera. Not so bad for a hack job. Yeah, it's really the page turns. It's hard on that one. Now that I don't quite have it memorized, but as I'm getting towards the end, I'm like, oh, I can do it from here, and I just dispense with the page turns from there. That point on. I was gonna do my Chinese songs, but man, I turned the page here and just there's this Chopin piece that I love. Excuse me. This one is a Polonaise in D minor, which is one of his Polish dances. He was Polish, even though he kind of made his mark in Paris, like most of the people did back in at that time. And this one is like just a great piece I discovered in his book of Polonaises, and it said posthumous, meaning he never published this until he was gone. I love this one. Let's see what happens. It has this one part in the middle here that it's like you analyze it and it's like jazz. It is like 13th chords and 19th chords and just so thick and rich and snaky for me to play when I haven't played in a while. But hey, it's Halloween. Let's have some fun in the key of D minor. Just like, okay, this is in the same key as that Bach piece. So hey, we'll finish with this and then maybe I'll do my Chinese songs that I need to practice here. Okay, Polonaise in D minor by Frédéric Chopin. Chopin. D minor Polonaise. I love that song, and I am going to do a little bit of a spot work here just to do an extra pass out of that part that really goes into the jazz. Check this out. Sorry. So we got a C sharp, flat 6, C sharp sus over G sharp to a G sharp 13 to a C sharp 2 to a B minor 11 to an E 13 to an A sus to a B13 over an E sharp resolving to a G sharp 13 to a C sharp minor sus to an F sharp minor 11 to a B13 to an E sus to an F sharp 13 over the B sharp resolving to a C sharp to a D sharp. That's the hard one because it's got a double sharp in there. Flat 6 to a G sharp minor to a E2 F sharp 13 and then hangs out on a sort of a B sus thing. So yeah, that's always been the trickiest passage, but just listen to that. It's just so rich and such a herald of things to come. And I've said many times in the past that Scott Joplin is an under-acknowledged link. He's a totally acknowledged ragtime god, right? There's that for sure, but I think what a lot of people don't understand is that he wasn't just somebody who's like, like some people just get on there and do their thing and are just madmen. No, he was trained in Western European classical piano and had a teacher and everything, and so he would have played these greats, especially these people that were like, when was this written? Does it say? Chopin was like, I should know this, but it's 1870s or something. Does it say? It doesn't say on here. But, okay, so just let's say late 1900s, right? Which is, Scott Joplin was turn of the century, I think. And so he would have heard this stuff. And I really think Scott Joplin is the link between, say, what was going on in France is in the classical realm and what ended up translating through the ragtime that Scott Joplin exemplified into the blues, into the jazz, everything. Listen to this once more. This is so rich. And just the circle of fifths of that bass pattern is just kind of epic. But what's even more epic in this whole song? My favorite part, by far, in this piece is the end of the first section, which we reprise after that middle section. This. Let's try that again. What's going on the left hand is tritones down by half step. And this is like kind of tritones too, except for that first one. Tritone, tritone. So yeah, and the tritone here with that tritone here moved down here. It's just one way of expanding the diminished seventh chord, which is all minor thirds, and 2 minor thirds equals a tritone, and then, I won't get too much in the weeds there, but listen to that once again. Chopin is lovely. Okay, so I gotta go carve my pumpkins here pretty soon. I'll play 2 more songs for you. Let's see if anybody is hanging out on YouTube. And I can switch over. No, I can't because my keyboard's back over there. Hotkeys are great, but you gotta have your keyboard, you know? And let's go YouTube, let's go to Facebook. How's everybody doing out there? Talk amongst yourselves. What are you gonna be for Halloween? Tell me in the chat what you're gonna be for Halloween. Stéphane, I'm mon ami de France. Stéphane, il aime. Oh, thanks, Tracy. And she says hi. Mon ami de France. Un de mon meilleur ami de France, c'est Stéphane de Marseille. Il est un très bien musicien et très bien ami. And désolé si mon français c'est merde. C'est longtemps. Il y a longtemps que je pratiquais mon français. Ok. Il n'y a personne. Il n'y a personne de YouTube. Okay, so moving right along from French to Mandarin. Okay, so anybody that knows me knows that I am a Monkey King freak. Sun Wukong. Before I got my Scooby-Doo outfit, I was Sun Wukong for many years in a row. And I have my monologue that goes something like, 哎，我告诉你吧，我是500年前的狗有的好阳王，我练习一身钢琴，叠个火眼金睛，手起剑火，就进花果山水帘洞，齐天大圣孙悟空 which is basically him announcing who he is to the rare demons on their little pilgrimage that don't actually know his reputation in advance, so he has to explain, hey, don't you know who I am? I trashed heaven 500 years ago. I made myself with iron bones and fiery eyes that can see through anything. I am the great sage going to the west to get the scriptures. I am equal to heaven, great sage Sun Wukong. Check it out. Monkey King is epic. Think of that. Like Shakespeare, this book has been around for almost 500 years. But not only that, Shakespeare was writing his histories on stuff that had just happened the previous year. The guy that wrote The Monkey King, The Journey to the West is technically the name of the story. He was writing in like around 1500 or so about a history that had happened 900 years prior to that, in the 600s, where this actual monk, Tripitaka, made a journey. He walked from China to India and back. I think all of his trips like sum it up to like 17 years or something. And in the ensuing centuries, he became somewhat of a folk legend, and all of this mystique was created around him, and all this folklore. And then who stole the show but the Monkey King, who was born from a stone egg on top of the mountain, etc., etc., etc. I could go on and go on, but I just check it out. It is a really cool story, really fun. Sun Wukong is kind of like the first proto Marvel DC superhero. And see if check it out and see if I'm not kind of onto something there, because it's just awesome. And he's got that wonderful combination of being practically omnipotent and completely incorrigible, which is a great combination. And what else about him? Anyways, there's some great TV episodes you can find with subtitles. There's one that came out in the 80s that was what everybody in China grew up with. There was one, it was a remake in the 2000s, which was better effects, but people still like the 80s one. But you know what? The best script, as far as the way the story is told, as we got really used to the story by the time that we got to the cartoon version. Only went halfway through the story, only 24 episodes, but there's a cartoon version from the 90s of Journey to the West that is actually the best screenplay, I believe. And I'm going to play first the song that closes. Actually, no, let's do it in order. I'll do the first song, which I learned first, which is the opening song, Hoga, Hoga, and then afterwards, at the closing credits, was Bang Long Ma, and which is actually the more popular one. So we'll see how these go. I'm going to try it from memory. I'll probably play them through once just instrumentally, just to make sure I got the chords and the melodies and stuff, and then I can think about the words, because it's getting there, but still got a little ways to go. Okay, so this is called Hoga Hoga. Hoga Hoga， 你真了不得，无心大声，也不知你老孙的病啊，蹦出个神行者。Hoga Hoga， 你真太难得，紧箍咒再念没改版，老孙的本色，把一根毫毛吹出火王歌，眨一眨眼皮，能把鬼识破，放个跟头，去往8000里，抖一抖微风，山崩的夜里，哪里有难都像你，哪里有山都有沟，长进百战大作战。 江啊阳山新日风。你的美名望个传，你的故事千家说。先进城金箍棒，金箍棒啊，有上说，扫起剑杀多。Hoga Hoga, Brother Monkey. That's the song that opens the cartoon version of Journey to the West from the 1990s. And I was going to say, if there's one, China is huge. China has a ton of people. China has a ton of different dialects and subgroups and subcultures and regional stuff going on. But if there is one single character in all of Chinese literature and history that you can count on every single one of those 1.1 billion people knowing about, it is Sun Wukong. So, a lot of bang for your buck if you want to make a connection with these wonderful people over there that are very, very, very dear to our hearts. Learn about the Monkey King, and you'll be in like Flynn, let's say. Okay, the other one is the newer one to me, so I'm still getting it in my mouth and under my fingers, but let's see if I can do it. 白龙马蹄朝西，拖着唐僧桑，跟着沙兄弟，西天取经当上路啊，提从独立上大路，一走一走就是几万里。什么妖魔鬼怪，什么美女画皮，什么岛上火海，什么陷阱鬼里，什么岛上妹妹，什么美女画皮，什么岛上火海，什么陷阱鬼里，都挡不住火眼金睛如意棒，是护送师徒朝西出。点不烫双上，小跑沙兄弟，西天取经不容易，容易赶不成大业力。什么魔法横渡寺有教师神奇，81难拦路骑士要变彻底。什么魔法横渡寺有教师神奇，81难拦路骑士要变彻底。14个战呀，多么同心合力，谁打不过正义？谁打不过正义？ Bai Long Ma, which means white dragon horse, which was one of a number of deities from the, shall we say, the pantheon slash bureaucracy that was the Taoist hierarchy up in the heavens run by Jade Emperor Yudi. And once in a while, one of the lesser gods would, commit some transgression and get condemned to the back to the mortal plane. And yeah, Bai Long Ma was one. Tripitaka was walking along with. By this time, he had, I think, procured Sun Wukong and a couple of the others as his guides and protectors. Except his horse got eaten. His white horse got eaten by a dragon, and so this other dragon who could transform into a horse who was actually one of those banished to Earth gods, was from that point on the horse that was in charge of transporting and protecting the Tripitaka and his 3 acolytes. So that's why Bai Long Ma, it's actually the song told from the perspective of the white horse. And it's kind of cool. And I'm told that that one is actually a more popular tune than the first one, the Hoga Hoga, which everybody knows, but I guess the other one was a little bit more upbeat. And again, it's wonderful. It's like one of these days I'm just going to go hang out on campus and just do my Scotty thing, and then see some Chinese people walk by. Lie, lie, lie. And they'll be like, what the hell? I'll be like, and I'll start playing that, and just one of those things to file under they don't see it coming. And it's so much fun. I mean, just that's why I love learning languages and cultures, is that you get to make connections that you would not otherwise have gotten to made. And the connections that Jen and I have made with our friends over on the mainland of China, and the connections we've made from students over here from there, are seriously some of our dearest connections in life right now. They are some of the most brilliant, warm, and welcoming people, and just intelligent as all get out, and creative, and fun, and just not in the same way that Americans are, like, all extroverted and putting it all out there. It's like more like kind of just keeping it close to their chest. But like I said, once you're in, you are in like Flynn. So I highly recommend learning about Chinese history and learning about the Monkey King and some of the other grand novels. From there, I would highly recommend The 3 Kingdoms, an excellent series that you can find, almost 100 episodes long. There's 90 some episodes, and 3 Kingdoms. You will just be blown away. If you are into cinema and especially into acting, whoa. Some of the actors in this, you guys, I'm serious. I mean, I know Korea has really got it going on right now, but so is China. You want to find a solid tradition of just filmmaking and acting, look no further than those 2 places. When 3 Kingdoms was done, we were just almost crestfallen at the fact that all our characters are friends and we can't watch them anymore. I mean, you can go back and watch them again, but the story, the story's over. So that's good. Water Margin, also called Brothers of the Marsh, and All Men Are Brothers. There's different translations of the title. That's that's the third of their 4 main classic novels. That one's almost like Robin Hood, set in Song Dynasty, Tang Dynasty. I should know this. I'm gonna guess Song. I'll check that. But great. It's like Robin Hood in China. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I am actually gonna probably live stream a little bit. I'm on this live stream roll today. We did our first maiden voyage of the Shakespeare's Delight. So check that out if you're interested in learning about Shakespeare. That was really fun, and there's more fun to come there. We're getting our legs back of all this classical stuff, and that's only going to be getting more fun as I have more time on my hands now that the school schedule is settling into place. And I think I'll go and do my just hanging out on the porch with the guitar thing until Jen gets over here and we start to carve our pumpkins. I should go set up my keyboard first, actually. But and then so the other thing that we're gonna do for live streaming is China movie night, where we will talk about Chinese history, Chinese culture, and I will give you some Mandarin tidbits if you want. In the context of just sharing some of these movies that we've seen. We've probably seen like 100 movies in like these last 8 or 9 years that we've really taken the deep dive into this. And I'm telling you, it is. It puts Hollywood to shame. I mean, I am sorry. It is really hard to get interested in most any. I don't want to sound smug, please. I don't want this to come off as smug. But seriously, is anybody else just getting really, really tired of the boring shit, excuse my Mandarin, that's coming out of Hollywood? It's maybe it's contextual, and it's just the fact that we have like this experience with films from other places. And again, I'm gonna start sounding like some, I don't know, some museum person sitting sipping white wine and waxing, sentimental on, oh, did you see that international film? I don't want to be like that. It's like, seriously, it's just really, really solid, deep cinema. And I just, in comparison, Hollywood bore me to death. So, anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to have a show where we will just kind of throw out a link there to one of the movies that we love and talk about it, and I'll just give you some pointers of the cultural notes, historical notes, whatever. It's all going to be casual. But I also some notes on how to learn Mandarin, because I know Mandarin has this reputation as being so hard, and in some ways, yes, it is, but not in the way that you would expect. If you're a person like me that grew up learning Spanish first, and maybe French and German, where you got all these tables for verb endings, and then you get to like German, Russian, Arabic. It's like tables for verb endings and tables for noun endings, and you're like, ah. And then you go and you learn, you start checking out Mandarin. One single word, and that's it. One word. No endings for verbs, no endings for nouns. Now the hard thing, well, people think the hard thing is the tones. Ma, 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 ma. And if you got even a somewhat musical ear, you can imitate that. You can listen. You can hear the difference between ma and ma, and you can say it. The tricky thing is that even the same syllable with the same tone, like sure, sure, might be like one of 5 or 6 different characters and thus 5 different meanings. So the homophones, meaning the words that sound exactly the same but could mean one of 10 different meanings sometimes, are immense. And you can imagine how rife the tradition, the 3,000-year tradition of puns. You think we got puns in English? Yeah, we do. Check it out in Mandarin. I mean, it is a national heritage going on 3 millennia, if at least. It's pretty crazy, and it's fun. But that's the hardest thing for me, is that just hearing that sound and wondering like which one is it. And my friend Minnie, she's just like, we just get it in the flow. And I get that. It's like you say to your really close friend something that you just barely even have to go, and just from the cadence of it, people know exactly what you're saying because you grew up with that cadence of saying that particular thing like that. So that's just it. But it just make it fun. I just wish that I had started this way earlier in life. But here we are. We are here. It is now, and it is Halloween. And let's go forth. I'm going to stop this live stream and this endless rambling right now and go transition to the porch, get things set up for my toccata and fugue in D minor on the pipe organ, get those pumpkins ready to carve into jack-o'-lanterns, and if I got any extra time, maybe we'll do some guitar live streaming from the porch. Thanks for hanging out. or checking this out in retrospect, please give me any comments. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and then you will get notifications anytime that we go live, whether it is the Shakespeare thing, or the classical piano thing, or just the hanging out on the piano thing, or just the hanging out with the guitar thing, or the China movie night, or Jen's Pudgy Pies, which is her early reading program that she is developing, as she is going through her Montessori training right now. So that is another exciting prospect on our horizon at the Music Compass. Da-da-da-da. Love you guys. Stay safe. Have fun. See you next time.